Welcome to this week's Technology Tuesday. Nowadays, my husband and I may have to stick a little closer to home, but thanks to our library cards, we have had some wonderful virtual adventures this summer. For example, in today's Technology Tuesday, you can come along with us as we do a little snooping among history's famous and infamous. After we investigate a few historical figures, we'll close out today's session with an introduction to the library's genealogy databases, so you can research your own long-lost relatives. So grab your library card, because your card number is the only passport you'll need to start your own historical investigations. To start our historical snooping, head over to the library's homepage, www.mylpl.info, and select Research on the upper right toolbar just below the search button. Then scroll down the page until you find the Biography and Genealogy toolbar. Click on the bar. Our first stop on today's database dive will be the Biography Reference Center. This site can show you almost 500,000 full-text biographies of historical figures, including narratives not found on other databases. Because the State Library of Louisiana maintains this resource, you'll bounce over to their page, so have your library card number handy to enter. When you land on the Biography reference page, you have several options. You'll notice an array of pictures across the top of the page. Click on the right or left arrows to see still more options. Browse these photos, which feature famous people, living and dead. You'll find athletes, authors, explorers, first ladies, inventors, presidents, scientists, and more. If you don't see anyone in the browse bar that tickles your curiosity, you could also check out the current featured biography. Today, the featured biography is that of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. Did you know that he was a third-generation pastor? Scroll down the biography for some interesting details about his life. On the right-hand vertical toolbar, you'll see lists of famous people broken down into categories ranging from actor to war hero. Scroll down the page and see if you find a category that grabs your interest. Let's check out an athlete to demonstrate the feature. Here's Shreveport, Louisiana's own Terry Bradshaw. Let's give his site a shot. Take a look at the upper right-hand corner of the page. As you can see, you can choose to email yourself the text of the article, print it out, or save it to a folder. Saving articles to the folder allows you to go back after doing your research and deciding whether to save all the articles you found or remove some before emailing them to yourself. Let's look at another quarterback with Louisiana roots, Drew Brees. You can save his information to the same folder with Terry's and then email them to yourself to read later and compare. Of course, you can also print copies of the information if you prefer. Speaking of comparing these quarterbacks, I had forgotten that Bradshaw has won 4 Super Bowls. Amazing. But now let's do a specialized search by using the search bar in the upper left corner and entering the name Winston Churchill. When we do, 3 choices appear. Since we want to read about the World War II Prime Minister, we will select the first option. Now we see a photo of the Prime Minister, as well as a brief biographical sketch. Let's explore the first detailed biography. This website allows us to save any article we wish, either by emailing a copy to ourselves or by making a folder to store gathered materials. Of course, you can always save the information to a disk or print it out. Please do go back on your own and explore. In many ways, this database is similar to People magazine. It gives you interesting details about famous people and shows you a side of their life you might not have known about. For the next part of our session today, we're going to explore the genealogy databases available through the library. It's an interesting challenge to see how far back you can trace your family's roots. To begin your journey, go to the Heritage Quest button. This resource allows you to search over 4 billion records, stretching all the way back to the 1700s. To illustrate how to conduct a basic search, I'm going to enter in information about my own family. I know that my grandfather McInnes was named George Willis, so I'm going to start there. Looks as if we're in luck. Let's click on the first link and see what we find there. Well, by those dates, he's not my grandfather. He's my great-grandfather. And now that I have his names and dates, as well as those of his wife, my great-grandmother, I can dig a little more into my family's past. By using some of the common family names in my search, and then looking at the names of the children, I was able to locate my great-great-grandfather, Roderick M. McInnes. If you're having a hard time in your search, try using names of other family members as often they repeat from generation to generation. Also, I found McInnes spelled several different ways in the records, so be creative with your spelling also. Speaking of names, take a look at the names of all those children. Think the Scots still hold a grudge against the British? How many people do you know who named their sons Bonaparte? And my great-grandfather, GWL's name is really George Washington Lafayette. So basically, anyone who beat the British has a McInnes named after him. I thoroughly enjoy digging through my family's past, and you'll enjoy learning about your own. Set aside an afternoon and start your own search through the online database. Remember that the main branch of the library has an entire room devoted to genealogy, so if your online search whets your appetite in learning more about your ancestors, call them and ask about those resources. Thank you for attending today's session of Technology Tuesday. I hope you enjoyed getting a stamp on your virtual passport. Speaking of getting stamps, don't forget to claim the Summer Reading Program badge you just earned for your participation today. Remember, if you need assistance using the Biography and Genealogy databases or any other online resource, you can text the LPL at 225-396-4LPL. That is 225-396-4575 to be connected to a knowledgeable staff member. Good hunting.